Welcome to a new episode of the ASEF podcast Let's Talk About Slovenian Art. My name is Tjaša and I'll be the host of this podcast. I am an ASEF Junior Fellow 2021 and I am a PhD student of art history at Leipzig University. This ASEF podcast is devoted to art in Slovenia, where we talk about Slovenian rich and versatile culture made up of folklore, customs, theatre, music, food, written words, and visual arts. Throughout the series of episodes, we get to know numerous talented Slovenian artists who are actively involved in domestic and foreign cultural scenes. We discuss with them how they see Slovenian art today, what are the opportunities and challenges, what is their vision of the Slovenian art world, and how this can be compared to foreign artistic practices. In today's podcast, I'm thrilled to welcome a Slovenian artist, painter, illustrator, designer, photographer, interior designer, and exhibition designer Žiga Okorn. Žiga, thank you very much for joining me today and welcome to the ASEF podcast.
Thank you, Tjaša, for invitation.
It's a pleasure and I'm very excited for our chat today. But firstly, I would like to congratulate you on your latest exhibition, Obzorje biti, which was opened on the 3rd of May in Stane Krigar Gallery in Ljubljana. But we will talk about it a little bit later. Today, I would like to start our talk with, let's say, a warm-up question. So, can you tell me how do you start your working day? I am not a morning person, so I need to have a cup of coffee in the morning and before I start my work. But in the past 2 years, we kind of faced many challenges, and I think at one point we were all struggling to be creative on every level. So what is your recipe? How do you stay productive?
I don't have any special recipe. I think it's in you or it isn't. So I just start. I have mainly problem how to manage my time to do the stuff with design, which is pretty time consuming, and it can be never ending. So you have to cut in a part. So mainly is there must be some project. So that you have kind of deadline, kind of vision, what you want to do. And then when this process of creative thinking starts, it is not a problem with motivation because ideas build up themselves, I think.
It's very good to hear, that you still can find a way to, to be creative, to do your stuff, to do art, because I think, I don't know, that at one point, if you're not managing your time well, it's hard to, I don't know, you just need, to get to a point where you finish stuff you
Yes.
have to do. But on the other side, I think that, for art, it's hard to say, yeah, today at 8 a.m. I'll start painting, right?
Yes, but I would if I wouldn't have this studio, which I need for earning, for basics, for family, and so on. So, but this COVID situation, which you spoke about before, it was a very nice time for me as a painter, because I took kind of refugee camp in my studio, and I managed to work a lot. So it was a great time for me in a way. There was problems on the other fields, but concerning painting, it was a very creative and peaceful time.
Of course, you were able to close your doors and just be with your paintings, right?
Yes, yes.
Very well. Good. So if we continue a little bit about you. You graduated from the Academy of Fine Arts in Ljubljana with an exhibition in the Tivoli Park's old boathouse in 1991 with Professor Gustav Gnamuš and Professor Tomaž Brejc. And then you've been a freelance artist since 1994 and exhibit regularly in Slovenia and abroad, which I think it's impressive and also quite challenging today, right? Unfortunately, I think in Slovenia, it is somehow true that today, in many cases, the artist has to work in more profitable activities, and in the end, the basic profession is just a hobby. So, what is your opinion on this? How to financially survive, let's say, as a Slovenian or just an artist, at the same time, be good at what you do, and alternatively, how to stay true to yourself and your art?
Yes, I think the main problem is that this uh, thinking about being artist is such a pure thing. I don't think even Leonardo could not just paint or do just what he want. Everybody had to adapt to kind of a social situation or I don't know, the social system that exists in that time. So I think in Slovenia as well we have kind of good status. You can take status of artist, and if you manage to create goods which are recognized as a nationally important, you can get paid for social security and for pension by the state. But it's in the same way. It is a little bit economically regulated, so you have to earn quite little money. It's something below 20,000 euros brutto. I don't know how to call it. It is with all costs in this. So if you are doing some exhibitions, it's if you making some invitation, press, material, it's expensive. So it is kind of it is hard to work with this limit on a larger scale. But also it is difficult to sell something, especially if you work for site specific, as I do. There are many paintings, many parts of many art pieces are not really easy to sell. So we have kind of good situation, which you could say it's kind of golden cage. You can enjoy creativity, but it's very hard to live normal life with this status, especially if you have kids or there are some levels which are not connected. So if you are a father with I don't know how many children, you got the same amount of support as a single person. But in the other hand, situation is quite good in Slovenia. With art, I think it's maybe a little bit too much of cynicism in art. Not trying to tell what should be done, but converting things, doing what is wrong, and trying to show that this is not okay. I think this is a trap, which is in a way safe for artists, but on the other hand, I don't think it's real value for community.
Very interesting. You mentioned selling your work or artworks. So what do you think about the market? Do you think that it's my opinion is that for an artist today it's quite hard to sell in Slovenia. What about abroad? Can you do any comparisons with it?
I didn't sell abroad because I don't have any gallery or any representative there or manager or something. I'm quietly trying to do something, but you need time. I would need some backup from some gallery or something. But if I think about Slovenia, there was a time, I don't know, around 2000 and something, when I was on half design and half of earning with the paintings. So that was, I think, the best score I ever did. And it is very, it goes up and down. In the latest time, it was interesting. In time of Corona, there was a lot of interest for paintings online through Facebook or I don't know, Instagram, even Twitter. So I think it was maybe some lack of shopping experience in one hand, and the other hand, being a lot of time at home, thinking about your own space, and then seeing something on social media and saying, "Oh yes, this is something I miss in my home." So it was quite interesting, and as well in galleries, I think it was. Well, I'm speaking about these small aquarelles of mine, not some big painting, but it is always nice if you see some interest on the other side, and if people come to studio and then speaking about their feelings about special some paintings. So it is. It was quite okay regarding the heavy times we live in.
I think it was a wake up call, that I think we finally got an opportunity to look inside, and just, and find what is actually valuable for us, for our family. And even I found myself, scrolling through paintings and, looking for what I would like to have in my apartment, because we didn't have a chance to go to the gallery. So we wanted to have a piece of something, at our house to look at it every day. So yeah, it is a very interesting thought.
It was a time of contemplation in a way.
Yes, for sure. So in bad is always we always can find some good. So that was definitely
this is consolation.
Yes. Okay, so you will continue. You also co-authored the renovation of the former military prisons, which now we all known as the Celica Youth Hostel, and you also designed and painted one of the cells. For its renovation, together with the Sestava group, you received the City of Ljubljana Distinction. So can you please share your experience with this enormous and, I would say, very successful project?
Yes, this is really long story and wide. So it started with I don't know how deep we can go, but basically it was the space which was recognized as a really not just symbolically, but in real, it was a gray area of Ljubljana. It was not marked on the maps because it was military area, and it was gray, because you should not know what is inside, how houses are laid out or something. So it was kind of gray area which was started, which the city government started to demolish. It was not in legal way. They wanted to demolish it just so much that it would be not sensible to restore. So when we saw this, we entered in the whole area and protected it. So it was maybe this is one special start already, because the squad was made to protect value for the city. And then there was on all this area different approaches, and we decided to protect the prison. Because it's very interesting that it is the 3 times this prison had 3 borders. it's the border of barracks, the wall of the prison, and the prison itself, and the cell in the prison, and then in the basement you have dungeon rooms. So it is really it has a great symbolic, and we are thinking about turning it from something dark and very terrible for the society to complete opposite, to open space for young people to meet here, to come from all over the world and try to. And the most important thing was that we wanted we are focused on this memorial part. We wanted that everybody who entered this space that know what it was, and that it was opened up with the culture, with the culture and deep insight of what is going in the society, what was going on in these spaces. So we have for 10 years on Wednesdays, we have meetings with persons which were imprisoned in this prison. So we wanted to know as much as it is possible about this space before we start with renovation, before we start with physical changes in the space. And later in 97, we got Ljubljana was the capital of culture, European capital of culture, and we got some small amount of support, and we made 2 cells, which were model cells. The first was mine, which showed the way we think about renovation, and the second one was from Jerzy Kočica, from Rogaška. So these 2 cells then were the role model through which we convince the city government, the cultural ministry, and different person which we invite inside, as well as Anthony Gormley and all the people that support us and work with us.
It's like I said, I think it's very impressive, and I also had a chance to visit it as well, and I think it's still a space where people go, and also a lot of young tourists go and stay there at a hostel, and you have exhibitions there, talks there. So I think it's a very nice space for culture, and also that, I think, symbolic of that, the prison, and also the life, or the space where we live. So yeah, I think it's a big.
Yes, it's really great contrast if you think about. I remember one person, which was one of the last one, which was imprisoned there. It was not guilty for anything. He was just from Bulgaria. He was jazz musician, and because there were some political issues between Bulgaria and Yugoslavia, they were imprisoned for no reason, and they were tortured inside and so on. And when he came there, his wife was convinced that it would help him to get over his trauma, because he was not just physically, but he was completely broken when he got out of this prison. It was in 1984.
Wow.
Yeah. And when he walked through the prison, he didn't raise his head up. He was looking in the ground, and he was walking in the hall in the first floor, and then he turned left and looked up and said, "This was my cell." Oh. And he said, "This is the first time I'm looking up in this space."
Wow.
And the cell was mine, the one I renovated. So it was 1984. We were enjoying life outside, because this is very near my house. And we were driving motorbikes around this building, not knowing what is happening inside. So it was, terrible experience. And I think for the persons which were imprisoned, they were very glad that we started the renovation. There were some in the beginning saying this house should be ruined to the ground, but then later when they saw what we did out of it, many said that yeah, this is really the way we should do it. Yeah.
Of course, because I think it's a very good message, right? That you can get rid of your trauma, or the big trauma because of the war or prison with art, or through the art you can just kind of,
Yes.
I don't know,
Yes.
it's a very good message. So
Yes, that was the idea, and I think that Janko Rožić, he was we started together in Vesna Karmel. He had this vision very clear in the beginning. We were doing different things, but I think he was this main figure which knew this our path better. Something
and
like that.
the idea of what
Yes.
very
We,
good.
we were more in a visual way, or ethical, and so on. He was kind of visionary in this project, yes, or something.
Perfect. So, but that was not the only project you, with as a member of the Sestava group, did. You are engaged in a series of professional civilian initiatives that involve fine art and culture in the domain of education and also heritage protection, such as an initiative to preserve the Roba fountain. And these kinds of initiatives are very important, but I think sadly not evaluated enough. Sestava group fought against excluding art education from elementary school as well. So can you share your thoughts on that subject? Why do you think art education is important, and why is almost mandatory to start already in the kindergarten?
Yes, it's just scientifically explained. If you don't draw or paint in the early ages, I think till 6 is one period in which, if you don't have some experience, you are kind of you are missing something in your development. It's similar as if you don't sing or if you don't run. There are experiences which are essential, and I think drawing is the first objectivization of your work, of your thoughts. You're thinking about something, and when you draw the line, you're thinking about straight line, or you are thinking about a snail or something, and when you draw it, you are confronting reality. Your imagination, your ability to do something, and so you are kind of shaped with two-sided communication, thinking, and so I think it is very important, and we can discuss about the quality of this kind of education in the primary schools, but I think anyway, experience is experience. It could be a little bit, it could not be perfect, but it is experience. So I think it's important, and as well as musical activities, I think it should be more activity than learning about past and stuff. It is time later if you have if you like music. So I think there is a lot of things that could be done better, but these are basics.
Yeah, of course. But now we mentioned elementary school, but do you think that, I don't know, art education should be or would be good to have it, even later in our education, later, I don't know, at the, not maybe at a university, but at, not just elementary school, but later in our education system? Do you think?
Yes, of course, because when you're older, you can accept some concepts which can help you understand art, which can help you understand how to make presentation, how to I don't know, draw a dog to your kid, or I don't know. There are so many things you could be better, and as well, if it is done properly, it could be also some kind of a relaxation.
Yeah, of course. And I think it would be important, I think, in Slovenia to put more effort into humanities studies, not just maybe art education, but in general humanity studies. I think that will improve probably not just our way of life, but also just the way how we see things in today's world.
Yes, for sure. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so if we continue and now focus on your art. So if I tell a little bit more about your artistic expression, it is unique. So viewers witness figural watercolors of various dimensions, which you complete with just a few strokes in a limited color palette, and nothing is accidental, I dare say. So every stroke of the brush is on a paper with a purpose. The video you posted on YouTube, it's very nice to see how you draw your lines. And your works give a sense of thoughtfulness and openness to the viewer's interpretation. And nowadays, I think it's quite difficult to connect with a work of art somehow. I don't know, we don't have time anymore, or we don't take enough time, or art is not, for us there to have this, I don't know, time with it. So how, if you can tell me a little bit how you approach your painting and how do you communicate with your canvas?
Yes, there are different stories. If you say canvas, I'm thinking about real canvas, which is for me, the cotton or the linear, how it's called, lanino, but no. This is a bit different because you have a lot of process before it is finished, even to start working. So it's you approach really different than to the piece of paper. But if we're thinking just about how I start painting, it is mainly the concept or feeling which is built or created inside before, as through some kind of thinking or making some concept, and later when I paint, I try to go away from constructing as much as possible, and try to do it like a spring, that it comes out of me in undistracted manner. So it is more physical then. So spiritual and physical connected in a way, because it is difficult to think going with the brush, one stroke, and thinking here is this muscle, here is other muscle, here is the space. I want to have a little bit of perspective. I want this, that. It is kind of impossible, and that's why I love aquarelle, because it's honest and it can't be different. If you are working with some processes which are possible for aquarelle, and I don't like it. I like this other side of aquarelle, the honesty and that it shows everything, all the layers, all the speed, the slowness. If you stop with your brush, everything stays there as a witness to some process.
Yeah, you can't have a sketch on your paper, right? You have it in your mind and then you just do that physical.
Yes, and in your hand.
Oh yes, and in your hand.
Yeah, it is. The hand learns something. We know now that brains are not only part of the body which think that there is a stomach, and all parts of body have kind of awareness or I don't know the word. They are contributing to decision. So is this thinking hand? This book of this Finnish architect. There are in fact some things you can't explain, but you have to trust them. The same way as if you run over the river, and then you have some stones, and you have to step on each stone if you want to come over it. If you think about which stone will you choose, you are already in the water. So this is kind of process in painting for me.
Okay. Yes, I understand that feeling, when you need to trust your instincts and your body to do stuff. When you overthink it, then you'll make a mistake.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not just acryls and that the figures. In recent years, we have also witnessed many seascapes in your opus, and the way you paint is a little bit different. What inspired you to paint the sea in different weather conditions? I assume that spending time at the sea contribute to this, right?
Yes, as well. I always like to paint as well in abstract paintings, which were always somehow connected to the space or to the figure, but in I would say it was this modernistic experience when you work with essentials, when you work with colors and forms, and this is very nice feeling to work, to have all the possibilities opened, and then in the process of working, you find some triggers or some anchors which are tightening the painting to the reality. This is my difference from the modernistic way of thinking, where this was not the issue. For me, it was always very important to be not to be just painting in the white cube, but a painting which supports something that is in reality, or to invite you in something which connects you more with reality, not less. So and maybe this sea, it was always my passion through sailing and being on the seaside or anything, and this fascination that it is kind of hardly material. It is water and air, and you can build up any feeling with it, because it could be red, it could be green, it could be blue, it could be any color. In fact, it is colorless, but these powers that crash into each other could create anything. So if you are on the sea sailing for years and years, and with the kids and wife, and trying to survive, not to make some disaster happening, which is around the corner on the sea, you're really with open eyes and ears, and all the time, 24 hours a day for 1 month, for example, when we were on the vacation. So you develop kind of deep sensibility for everything, for sounds, for smells, for colors which are changing, or wind direction which is changing. It is all important. So you are never really completely relaxed. And it is maybe similar as a figure, because when you look at the figures or face or anything connected to human body, some 2 millimeters of difference, it could make person ugly or beautiful, or it can make scary figure or something, some emotions that invite you, or, so we are very precise instruments for recognizing this. So I can make a really tiny figure, like a centimeter, with one stroke, and you would see in it is coming into you, it is inviting you, or anything. So it's the same with the sea. If you look at the painting and say, oh, it's nice, nice colors. And then the sailor would look at it and say, oh, the storm is over. Yeah, it's better now. Or, or the storm is coming, or we are in the middle of it. Or so it is in a way, similar to me, trying to create some atmosphere, to be art for itself, or that it could be interesting for people which knew what sea is, or meteorologist, or anybody.
So, we can't really talk then about two different subjects because like you explained now, it's so very connected, how you see figures and how you paint figures, and also how you, understand sea and all that emotions and atmosphere. So it's coming out of you, of course. I think it's quite intertwined, these two.
Yeah, there are some similarities in approach, and they nicely combine in the space then, because I try to make some distinction. If the horizon is on the wall, then I try to put figures in the middle of the room on the small stands, so that you are in between. You look at the figure, you look at the space, and you are combining this, as well as you are adding to the painting, to the figure. You're adding your experience. There could be the same figure, and one says, "Oh, it's terrible. I know this experience," and the other said, "Oh, this is really nice. What a lovely figure, enjoying life." So it is, and this is the part I am working on as well, to let as much open as possible
for the viewer,
for your interpretation, for your experience to set in.
Interesting. Thank you for that. And maybe if we go now a little bit broader, what character would you give to contemporary visual Slovenian art? What do you think describes it the most? In your opinion, what is the biggest challenge maybe Slovenian art is facing today? You mentioned a little bit about it before, but what do you think? How do you envision its future?
I think the biggest problem is, we call it asparagus moment. Do you know it?
No.
Asparagus, this is the vegetable wheat. And we say, if anything is above normal, it is cut immediately, and this is the problem of Slovenia mostly. I think this is the problem. And then this brings up this lack of lack of bravery to do something what you think is right, but trying to look broad or around you, what's in at the moment. And so we have so many changes during the career of artists, so many changes in general. Now is this kind of painting. Now painting is not okay. We have to do installations. Now we have to. So I think it's a little bit too bumpy for that you would believe in such a development by itself. And nowadays in visual art, I'm quite disappointed with all these paintings done by done with the photos, painting photos and then making some kind of collages and things like that. I think it is the big value of painting is this originality. And if you say I will paint, I think it's great to take the essence of
originality. What do you think about that? With that, so that is, you're not copying others, or you're just coming.
Yes, that you do find the value in this. Maybe it is connected with what we were speaking about, children education. You try to do something and you are not satisfied with it because it's not as beautiful as you would like. This happens in the primary school. It was the case of my children. He was in, I don't know, 4th to 6th class, and nobody wanted to draw in the class anymore, because when they compare what they draw and what my son drew, it was not comparable at all. So they rather stop drawing. And this is the process which happens with visual art many times. And then you have later the teacher solve this problem and saying that he is a painter and he's completely different. So they work on it and they solve it, this problem. But when you confront this problem, so many times people find kind of escape paths, and when you have this, you find 10 photos, making some collage of it. Oh, it looks nice. Now we start to paint, and you don't have this question of yours, how you confront an empty canvas. This is the bravery. Do what you can. You don't need this help from some stolen photos, or this is one part of story. Of course, you can do great art with the photos. I'm not saying that this is not okay at all, but I think that you lose something which is very important and which gives value to art. If you look from now and going through the history, you find the same thing in all art, which is good and which is art, which is not design.
Well, what is your opinion about digital art then? You know, that all that art, or what is happening at the moment?
I don't have really good answer about this. I think it could be interesting as anything if it is well thought, if it have a concept, if it have a society value, and so on and so on. If it is just a joke, it has value as a joke, as a TikTok movie for a few seconds. I don't know. I'm not involved in this. I am in this involved in social media, but in digital art, I don't have many experience. But I know every tool is just a tool, or every field is just a field, and depends what you do with it. It is not that all painting is better than acrylic painting. It's better in a way because it could be eternal and so on. But otherwise, you can work with acrylic and speaking about something. What are these artificial materials meaning or something? You can always do right thing with the wrong subject or object.
Yes. You know, it's you just the tool. You know, different tools, but you can tell your story with a tool. You know, which is the best for you. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And thank you very much for that reflection and that interesting thoughts. As we're running out of time, let me ask you maybe, it's just a more general question. What do you do in your free time? Do you have any special hobbies? Your friends on Twitter and Facebook can follow your fascination with cycling, for example. So yeah, what do you do?
So many things. We are sailing. We did many regattas before. We were kind of racing. Yeah, not very successful, but we were fighting as it is really. There was one period. Then there are this session from the youth when I was collecting cars and restoring them. So yes, I have one very old Westphalia motorhome, Volkswagen bus, and I'm doing a lot of work on it by myself. And then is this love to bikes. I am restoring as well some. I have a little collection as well. Riding and vintage bikes for pleasure, and then riding road bike for going somewhere, enjoying nature and so on. So there is a lot of things.
Yeah. Which is, it's connected to your work with art, and then you also do the design and you're designing exhibitions. So I would say very, very busy and productive.
Yes. Very busy, yes, because in design studio we're just two, because it's the easiest way and the communication is good and things run smooth. But sometimes it's quite a lot of, especially with these exhibitions. They're quite huge with amount of objects and concepts that every curator have. And then we're doing as well one magazine, which is monthly. So we have 1 week for this at least, and then all the other stuff. And yes, it's a lot of.
So yeah, I am very thankful that you found your time today as well to talk with me and to share your experience and your thoughts. But before we finish, can you share your thoughts about your later exhibition, and if you're preparing anything new, or are you working on anything else at the moment?
At the moment, not especially. I have some ideas, but I'm now in a phase waiting to collect the paintings, to restore studio atelier to work again. But the latest exhibition was very nice for me because we were talking about it 7 years. Because the space where it is exhibited is in a way similar to Celica. It was the Catholic institution, education institution. institution. And during the war and post-war time, it was used for this, during war, it was used by occupation army, like a camp, prison camp. And then after war, it was used to collect, Slovenian people from Slovenian army and other civilians, which were transported then to murder to the spots where they kill them and bury them. It was without any legal process. It was kind of really dark spot on our history. And then there was there were barracks in this space, Yugoslav army barracks. And then after liberation, they recreated this Catholic. It is quite wide. They have secondary school, primary school, international school. There is a gym, and radio and publishing store or something. And there is this big hall which is used for different cultural events, even for other schools around. And I think it is kind of the same, turning really dark space into something positive and as well not to forget what was happening in there. And then there is this speciality of this space with these two atrium spaces, which are kind of light space, I would call it, because it's very, very bright inside and very nice color because it's white. It's not sun and shadow, but it's really white, like true white cube, which is not white cube. It is white, but it has some
as a character.
Yes, as a character, and there you have kids running around, asking you what is this, how it is made or something. They are very nice kids. And because there are two atriums, I filled it all with paintings, and I enjoyed the colors. I enjoyed what people feel about exhibition. It was very nice on opening, and we managed to make a small catalog. So it is all rounded nicely, and it is now prolonged for till beginning of June.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah, because I saw on your on a sheet that it will close soon or on the 23rd.
Yeah.
So now it's closing on the 1st of June.
Yes.
So I'll be able to go and visit.
Oh, great.
Nice. Yeah. Because I'm in Slovenia at the moment. So.
Okay, nice.
Oh, good. Perfect. So, and the catalog, can you get it at the gallery?
Yes. We print them quite a lot. I think 300, and then we made this decision to be €1 cost.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
For kids, because we didn't want it that they just took all of them, because there are kids, I don't know how many, 1,000 or something, and we wanted to see if they will give this €1, which is not a lot.
No, yeah, that's why I was surprised, because usually to make to do a catalog, it's quite expensive. So I think that's a very good thought.
Yeah, we wanted to give it some value and to be available for everyone, because this is even not one coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Very well. Žiga, thank you very much for your time and for this very interesting conversation. And also big thank you to our audience and as well for joining us on this podcast. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I'm also looking forward to the next episode of Let's Talk About Slovenian Art. So thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.